Welcome back to those who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I'm Adele Levine, intuitive and medium. All right, we're going to get on a subject that I feel is kind of a light subject. It doesn't seem like it is, but it kind of is, and that is cemeteries. Cemeteries. I was trying to do like echoey. Probably didn't work. But first, before we get started, what mug did I pick today? I picked, it's kind of cemetery-ish feeling. It's Carriage Houses Bed and Breakfast in Rapid City, South Dakota. Romance. I don't know. It's just like the vibe just kind of felt that way. And I just love mugs. And yum, Prosecco goes well with the mug. Okay, let's get started. Cemeteries often have a misunderstanding. So I'm going to go over kind of the short list of what people depict about cemeteries, meaning the stigma that goes on to them. And there's two sides of this. There's the kind of, mystical, kind of spooky side that tends to get associated with cemeteries. And also the side that's very grieving, and the idea that cemeteries are the only place we can go to get this sort of communication with spirits. So let's start with the idea of that first. Okay. The thing with cemeteries is that obviously this is for us, for those who are on earth, and we want to feel that there's a place for us to connect to those who have passed. Not everybody is in that place. Many people are actually not even using that anymore. I have seen so many people more in readings are going through cremation as an option. And then there's other options that people are going towards, which is one with the trees and all kinds of stuff. And I still feel it leaves this feeling to people that knowing that there's a place that they can go to and communicate with their loved ones is probably the appeal and the comfort of a cemetery, right? So it's understandable. But for those of you who may be feeling that way and have had people you've lost who are not in a cemetery, just know that not for people who have passed is this a place that's so important to them. At least this is what I have found from my readings. I'm sure this isn't too a surprise. I mean, when I first started this path, yes, this was kind of a surprise to people. People were very concerned about the wishes of those who were passing. And that does come with it as well. If somebody you knew was, okay, they really instilled in you, I want this, I want that. And that comes with, details of where to lay them and such. You may feel that you're, letting them down and not doing their wishes. However, cemeteries are really for us. They're for us to go to a place where we feel like we can kind of take that moment and have that connection. Now, is there people, and please comment below, let's all share our stories. If you share your story, I'll comment, other people will comment. This is how we create an understanding that we are not alone. If you've had experience where you've gone to a cemetery and you have gone there with the intention of communicating with someone who has passed, to pay your respects, to have that connection, and you feel some really trippy stuff happened. You saw a sign, you felt someone next to you, you could swear something went down. Are you imagining it? No, you're not. You're not imagining it. And here's why. The reason why you're not imagining it is because you are alert and paying attention and aware of being open to receive. Normally, on any other given day, you're a little bit more closed down because you're dealing with life and you're running around and you're doing what you need to do. So you're not so hyper focused on that connection. When you go to the cemetery, you put time aside, you're putting yourself in that mind space. It kind of is almost like opening yourself up ritualistically for a receive a message. And so you are not imagining it. But what happens is that we think the magic is in the cemetery. We fully believe, the magic must be in the cemetery. It must be because this is where spirits run wild and things are happening there. And so when I go there to talk and communicate with my loved one, then they're going to be able to communicate with me back because they know I came to visit them. We're very caught up in how things are in this world. We tend to translate it to that world, meaning that there needs to be a set date and time and location to meet. Versus to, it really is energy. It really is connection. It really is a telepathic connection to one another. So they already know, by the way, where you're going to be when you're going to be open. You could do the same thing anywhere. You could go to the beach. You could go for a walk. You could go for a drive. You could be sitting in your home, staring out the window and opening yourself up to that realm and to that person, and same magical things can happen. Now, I know that it may feel like it's instantaneous when it's happening at a cemetery, because sometimes you can open yourself up to that realm and then all of a sudden they send it to you later. If it may feel like it takes a little longer, and I'll tell you why that is true. For not every time, because I'm sure there's times you might have had this visitation and maybe nothing crazy happened at that time. Maybe it happened later when you went home. However, is there more activity in the cemetery? Well, yeah, in a way, yes. I mean, which is it, Adela? Yes or no? Yes. And the reason is because of this. It's not because this is the go-to place. This is more magical, but more people like you are going every day, going there every day and visiting and creating this flow of open space. What I'm saying is it's not just you there that is communicating to that realm. So kind of imagine, okay, if you will, let's say we all walked around our neighborhood. This is us walking around our neighborhood. And all of us at the same time, we're starting to talk to spirits who we have lost, talk to people we have lost, open ourselves to the spirit world. And we're all doing it around the same neighborhood. Wouldn't that neighborhood start to kind of get active? And wouldn't there be more energy moving around? Yeah, it would. If it was happening all at the same time, you would start this vortex of opening up more, kind of like a portal, and opening up a opening space to communicate. Well, that's what's happening at cemeteries. People are there and they are going there fully attention, fully aware, fully awake, fully prepared to feel a connection. Understand? It's not that mystical or that complicated. So yes, you can go to the cemetery and it does feel good, right? You know, if you walk into a place like this and you really miss someone, you feel the calmness, you feel like the energy is set for this visitation. But you can achieve that at home. You can achieve that anywhere you want. When I do readings, many times the spirit world is always telling me, hey, you know, you're more open when you're going for walks. So I try to send you signs, or I try to connect with you. You're more open when you sit by that window, by that tree that you planted. They will tell me specific things because it's about you, not them. And so they're seeing that you're in a more comfortable, open space to receive from them a message or sign or feeling, which don't underestimate that feeling of comfort that just comes over you and that feeling of connection. So the other part that I want to get to, and I'll wrap it all up together in a nice neat bow for you, is the concept of it being spooky. People often feel like, okay, at night it feels more spooky, there's more spooky vibe, there feels like there's more activity. I mean, it is in the same of what I just said. Is it kind of going on like that there? It is, but it's not to be scary. It's the feeling of allowing another realm within our realm to be more active space. Now, do you want that intense active space in your home? Probably not. Do you want that same intense active space in your neighborhood? Maybe not. I mean, maybe you do. But it is kind of a feeling of a thickness, you know, a feeling like something's kind of more in the air. I mean, people may feel it at night. I've been to cemeteries where I can see the activity, obviously, When I used to, in the beginning of reading, I could never walk into a cemetery. I would get so overwhelmed before I learned how to control spirits talking to me. Meaning, like now when I read, I ask one person, who do you want to talk to? Tell me who that is, your grandmother on your mom's side, whatnot. And you tell me who you want to talk to. I speak to that person and I control the rest. I didn't know how to do that then. So it was kind of like an open call and everybody was talking to me at once. And so it was overwhelming because I didn't know how to control it, not because it was more scary or there was something wrong. Now, when I go, because I have this understanding with the spirit world, it feels much more like home or family or those that I know, friends that are really just trying to make contact. And what I mean by trying to make contact is that they're not desperate, they're not lost. And that's the misconception. Oh, they're going to be wandering around the cemetery lost, not knowing they're dead. That's really not what's happening. It's more kind of like I can tell when I go to a certain cemetery where people haven't visited those energies, not because they're wandering around the cemetery. They're just kind of like, I wish people would know I'm trying to talk to them and they seem to kind of think I'm here. So I don't know how to get their attention. And maybe they know the Wi-Fi message knows I'm going to be there and I can feel them. And then I've been to ones like Hollywood Forever here in LA where people go there a lot and give them so much attention that they're like, they don't need me. Does that make sense? Because I'm the medium, I'm mediating in between. However, that is to say, there isn't anyone trying to haunt or get lost around a cemetery. It really isn't a thing. So all you need to do is take away the concept of our world and trying to put it into that world. What I mean by that is you don't have to see it like it's just like here, where you have to drive somewhere, knock on the door, open the door, and talk to each other. It really isn't. It's just we have created a crossroad, if you will. We've created like a railroad track, a way station, an in-between space that we have told the other realm, if you go to this realm, because this is where we buried you, I will be able to meet you there. And sometimes people go even if they're not buried there. We have determined these are the spaces, not them. So what I would say to you is feel free to go to these spaces if you feel like it helps you open up with the energy, that's fine. But remember, you can do this any place, anytime you want. As a medium, I'm here to mediate the dead to the living. I am not needed to mediate the living to the dead. They hear you and see you just fine on any given day. It's more us that's getting blocked. So I hope this cleared some stuff up. I hope this maybe gave you an understanding, because people carry silly guilt that you shouldn't need to carry. Don't feel that. People, oh, I don't go enough or this or that. It isn't for them. It's for you. And it's understandable, because this is how we get through feeling like we can connect. So in closing, I just wanted to announce that, to remind everybody that I'm doing an astral travel class this Saturday. There's still plenty of room if you can come live, or you can watch the video later on. If you get a ticket, you get a video, so you don't have to be there live. Also, I am still offering 50%. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go with this. It might be another month of my readings with the code PEACE while we're still going through this trying times. I wanted to announce that I just put out another episode here with, you can see, with Pete Gardner from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It was an awesome episode. I really think you guys will enjoy it on my podcast called Personal Magic. He just had some really cool stuff to say. Follow yourself, follow no one, listen to that inner voice, and I'll see you guys soon.